When did you last pick up your camera because you actually wanted to, not because you felt like you had to? Now, if you don't remember, then this video is for you. And there was a point in my life where I completely stopped taking photos completely, not because I didn't like photography, it was because I gave up on myself. I would open up Instagram and look through photographers that I looked up to. Instead of feeling inspired, I felt like my photos compared to them were just nowhere near, and that made me go like, or think about that my photos would never get me to the life I want ever. So the camera stayed in my bag, and all the photo and video content that I wanted to do just stayed in my head. And then as soon as I just kept on going, I'll do that tomorrow, the harder it was for me to actually start doing photography, and just created bad habits, and it was just completely made it harder for me to just take photos even. And that's what comparison does. It doesn't make you feel like you are behind, but it really convinces you that where you are right now to where you actually want to be is proof that you don't belong there at all. Like, you feel like that you're here but you want to get here, but there's no bridge at all to go to, so you just go, nah, I'm gonna just close up that gap and just not believe in myself and just think that other photographers are very lucky. And especially when you have autism, but back then I'd be looking at it in a very negative way and going like, creativity is not for me, creativity is not supposed to be for people like me, and just saying a lot of negative stuff that just fuel my head with those certain thoughts. But when you just spent years doing that, it tends to just dig in and just become this habit, which will turn into negative talk, not believing yourself, and then that's when you have low self-esteem. But like, I wasn't really burnt out at all. I was just completely lost. That was the main difference between me back then to me now. Because burnout means that you've done way too much, and being lost is where you don't know what direction to take, or what photos to take, or what you do enjoy, what you don't enjoy, and all sorts. Like, you're trying to pick, there's way too many options for you to do, and then you just go like, I don't even know, I don't want to do any of them. When I was younger, I used to watch Batman obsessively, especially this guy, right here, especially playing the games. But when I looked at Bruce Wayne, he was a guy that built himself up to something, especially after his parents died and all sorts, and that grief turned into like, that grief, that trauma, that, losing both your parents, and the only person that you have is Alfred, your butler. But the one thing that can destroy him is not the Joker, Bane, or any other villain, it's himself. It's Bruce Wayne trying to become Batman, but then Batman trying to become Bruce Wayne, and the identity shift. And sometimes when he feels tired, there's certain episodes in the animated series where he's always saying, Alfred, I'm tired, and he's burnt out. He's wearing the Batman suit, but he doesn't know how to shift from being Bruce Wayne to being Batman. He doesn't know how to do these two people. It feels like a complete different person from each other. But sometimes Bruce Wayne does forget about himself when he becomes Batman. But Batman is the mission, but Bruce Wayne is the person that needs to become Batman. That's the reason why Batman exists, because of Bruce Wayne. But especially when Batman loses Bruce, all he is just a mission to protect Gotham. All he is just a mission, a mask to protect himself. And I was doing the exact same thing with photography. All I did was starting to focus on doing better posts, doing better photos, and trying to, post better content, or get better with sales, or try and do this and try and do that, and not really focusing as to why I love the process of photography, or as to why I actually do what I actually want to be doing, most importantly. And sometimes you're going to just reframe your what and why and how you're going to be doing that a few times until you go, I like this option, I like this. But as soon as my photography became like when Bruce Wayne becomes Batman, you start to lose that, and it's just all about the missions, not about the love and the why, or the how, or the what. It's just all about doing this and doing this and doing this and doing this, and just keep on at it until you're burnt out to the point where you don't want to be doing it anymore, which I can't really see myself doing that at this point. But the moments that things changed, it wasn't really a big one. It wasn't a new camera, it wasn't a mentor, it wasn't a viral video at all, which I never really got in a viral video. But anyways, it was all in a random day of the week, like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I can't really exactly remember, but literally all I did was I just stopped scrolling my phone, and then I just started to think about, well, since I'm scrolling from my phone, I'm looking at this for inspiration, why don't I just go outside and actually have a look at what I could take photos of, so I can actually practice using my camera, because it was with this camera and not the one I'm currently filming with now. But we're literally just going out towards the national park, because that's literally my front yard, my backyard or whatever, and just taking photos of falling, leaves falling from the tree, or just doing some photography techniques that I saw, and just looking at anything I take photos of and just take photos of that with no plan, no goal, and just taking photos again. But for the first time in ages, back then of like 2022, between 2021, I actually felt like myself again, and actually felt like this is gonna be the start of something. And that's when I just started to just take photos, and then eventually that started to create content for myself. And that's when everything literally just changed for me. And then I got the mentor, and then I got just better overall. But here is what I learned from that specific day, was that consistency isn't all about taking photos every single day. Yes, that may seem really good on paper. Yes, I do recommend doing that. But if you're literally just starting out and you have a busy week, or you have a full-time job, you don't have to do it every single day. All you need to do is just take it bit by bit of just taking photos, and just starting to develop a taste, a style for your photos or videos even. But when people say take photos every single day until you get something, but literally 99% of people will literally go take photos and then they burn out. They do that until they burn out. That's not consistency, my friend. That's literal punishment. Real consistency is really trying to protect the reason why you actually picked up the camera in the first place. For example, Peter Parker doesn't just stop being Peter Parker when he puts on the Spider-Man suits. He literally mixes those two together, because you still hear Peter Parker in like The Amazing Spider-Man when he jokes around with his villains. He doesn't take them too seriously, and he just starts being the kid, and he starts swinging around trying to defeat villains with a total different vibe from Batman, where Batman becomes really serious. Like really serious. Like he has a deep voice, and Spider-Man is all jokingly and stuff. He does less serious, because Spider-Man is literally just Peter Parker with a big purpose, and that's what your photography needs at this point, a purpose as to what it is about it. Why would people want to look at your photos? Why would people want to actually work with you? And why would people should actually choose you, mainly? And how are you going to create that outlook for them? But also make sure your photography is actually yours, and not just a copy of somebody else's signature photo, because I've tried to do that before. I've tried to copy Peter McKinnon and North Borders photos, but I live in a total different country, except for North Borders. He lives in Melbourne, I live in Sydney, but anyways, not the point. Just don't copy people, unless, like, copy like a little bit, but don't copy the whole entire thing. It's like trying to copy somebody else's video by going through the whole entire thing, word by word, bar by bar, literally. Don't do that. Don't do that. Sure, copy the technique, but not the whole entire photo. But if you don't really have the time for taking photos, 1 photo per week beats everything. Just take like a few photos a week, and literally just do that for the one day, instead of just trying to cramp up 7 days a week, because we all have lives we need to be able to do, and people we need to see in all sorts. But the one thing with your photography is that you're trying to reach the younger self of you, the younger self, as to, like, if you were struggling with a certain thing, you want to be able to take a photo that really fills that gap to that feeling, and actually creating that emotion for that person to go, this relates to me so much, and actually going like, yes, it is cool, but also like a way to make them feel something, in a way, making them feel heard. And that's when your photography becomes the best thing that they've ever saw ever. If you have not been shooting photos as of lately, I'm not going to tell you just to go out there and take photos, because that's what everybody else would be saying right now. But what I'm going to tell you is to remember as to why you took photos in the first place. Go through your Instagram feed, like right now, go through your Instagram feed and your account, either way, then look at photos as to why you took them. Why did you take them? Was it because you actually wanted to go into that line of work, or was it because you really like about this certain film, or why? Just anything, literally. And look, and if you've got old photos that you want to scroll down to in your account, because I've got some photos that I actually quite liked if I was going to scroll down to, but it's be like a few years. But anyways, just remember why you took photography. why you went through content creation or videography, anything like that. Remember why you do it. Remember that. Not just creating content just for the sake of it, but remember why you want to impact people. Remember why you want to talk to your younger self. Remember why you want to help people. Remember that. But it's also like the feeling of the first time you pick up your camera and you're actually taking photos. And, you know, your family went like, oh, you're pretty good at photos. And then you go like, oh, okay, sure, I am. And then you start to take more and more photos in family events and all sorts. And that's when your line of work became like that. But go find that feeling as to why you took them. Just go find that feeling at all. And if you do need help in terms of finding that feeling yet again, but going through the life lessons that I've gone through that may relate to you or may not relate to you, it doesn't really matter to me, but as long as it helps you to remember why you did it in the first place, then I'll be more happier than that. So comment 28 below, or either go to the link description to find my email course about 28 ways to, you know, literally master photography in 28 days. But if you don't get that, that's okay, but just go find the feeling as to why you took photos in the first place. And that way, I've actually helped you, and you've actually helped yourself to go, yeah, I'm going to go and take photos. I'm actually going to go find my why as to why I took photography, or why I took a sudden interest in it. Because I wasn't really born as a photographer at all. I just chose it because I had experience into YouTube videos, and then I decided to take up the camera when I was like 16. So go find that feeling, go take photos, find your why, find your what, and how you're gonna do this. And I believe in you.